Hello everyone. Welcome to Great People Interview Series, and I have with me Alan Gates. He is the founder and CEO of Digital Advantage, and all these years of experience and studies in interior design and computing background, and so much that he has done through his life, he's put together to start this company called Digital Advantage. Today, we are here to discuss the topic of artificial intelligence. Obviously, some of you have heard a lot about it, and probably by this time it's become a little irritating, isn't it? Sometimes people talking too much about AI, but we are going to touch upon that side of AI which is going to be useful to you. And we have with us the marketing expert, Alan. And so we will see AI in the perspective of marketing, and how, if you are from the marketing background or if you have a business and want to understand how AI is going to impact or improvise my marketing, well, this is a session for you. So welcome, Alan.
Thank you, Sachin.
Great. So to start with, tell us a little bit about your journey and how you
Whoa.
started. Yes, I know it's a long journey.
It's a long journey. Well, I was as a child I was very, very good at drawing. I loved drawing, painting. Yes, as a child I was very interested in drawing and painting. That led me to eventually go to school and study drawing, technical drawing. I was very interested in the sciences as well, organic chemistry, technical drawing, woodworking, metalworking,
Wow.
and also computing eventually when it finally came in. That led me on to do a degree in interior design and project management at what was Brighton Polytechnic, now Brighton University.
Wow.
79 to 81. And whilst I was there, computers were just becoming known of and were being
So
installed.
those big machines.
Oh goodness, yeah, they were in rooms 4 times the size of this, air conditioned, and we had to access them through one DOS terminal outside, and that was it. That's all we were allowed to do. And Brighton Polytechnic had paid £1 million for an HP computer in this room. Nobody was using it. It was amazing. Nobody was using it. And myself and one other guy from the architecture and interior design section decided we'd just play around with it. So we started building wireframe models, just point A, point B, and how do you get from point A to point B. And so we started drawing buildings in wireframe, which was the best it could do at the time.
Yeah.
And eventually, after that, I was working for local companies. I'm afraid I was responsible for designing and building lots of McDonald's hamburger stores and Pizza Huts. I did 186 of them over 5 years.
Wow.
But also things like Harvesters restaurants, Calendars cafe bars, if people remember those, which are very much like TGI Fridays. And I went on from there. I worked up in London for 6 years, got terribly fed up with commuting because I'm Brighton based. And then I worked for various companies in the building trade, architecture and building design. I also worked for a computing company, as I had some computing knowledge.
Absolutely.
And they were an IT recruitment company, and I took them from 3 people on a DOS system right up to 14 people on the first Windows systems.
Wow.
And to do that, I had to do Microsoft Server administration
So
and Windows
right
administration.
from those days of the beginning of computers,
Yeah.
you have been seeing the transition. And
I have.
I think, friends, somebody who is from that era when the computer started, and he's seeing all sorts of transitions to, first Windows as an application on DOS,
Yeah.
Then it became the operating system, and so on and so forth. But he has been pretty hands-on. He is an expert in website development. He understands and guides people on marketing, digital marketing these days, obviously.
Yeah.
And now, getting into today's topic of artificial intelligence in marketing. So, well, I would just start by giving the conversation back to you to express your views on how artificial intelligence is impacting marketing or improving, or in some cases, if you feel it's not really there yet.
Okay. So we are very much at the beginning. We're at the bleeding edge, as they say. We've barely started with it. There is a lot of apps coming out that can assist, but they're all very bitty at the moment. There's no great coordination between them, which there could easily be, and I see that as something which is coming. There'll be a lot of mergers and acquisitions of various apps and browser extensions all joining together to make more integrated programs that are more useful, rather than having to have a subscription with this one, a subscription with that one. It's going to get crazy in that respect. But AI in marketing is progressing very fast, and you only have to Google it to find out so many things that it can do already. But I'd like to get on to things that I think it will do in the future.
Mm.
So with marketing especially, there is going to be great hyper-personalisation.
Wow.
By that I mean that every individual who is using it to search for knowledge, to search for a product to buy, to search for directions, the apps that are coming will personalize everything for them. It'll be directed only for them, and that is easy to do because obviously computers crunch huge amounts of data.
Absolutely.
Huge numbers, and it can do this so quickly now. So there's going to be great hyper-personalization. There's going to be a great deal more of predictive analysis, where with all this data about people's shopping behavior, for example, it's more than just shopping, of course, but shopping behavior will be analysed down to the minutest degree.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
even though you can speak to Alexa, you could be talking to Alexa or Siri with your partner at home and happen to mention something. Alexa's overheard you. All of a sudden, you're getting adverts on your phone, on your tablet, on your PC, on your Mac. That's going to become more prevalent. Now, I'm not so sure that I'm comfortable with that. That's one side of it that concerns me a little.
Yeah, because now we're entering into the topic of ethical marketing.
Absolutely.
Using personal data. Well, are you using the personal data with the consent? But yes, legally there could be things that are yes or no, but there is a general sense that even if I'm allowed, should I be using this data? And as you rightly said, you're not comfortable Alexa hearing you.
That's right.
And using that data or sharing that data with some of the experts in the back office of some companies.
Exactly.
Which is going to be processed. So I think it's going to be funny, isn't it? In few years' time, the systems or these shopping websites or some of the softwares that we are using, they will probably know more about us than we know ourselves.
Very possibly.
Sachin, do you know that you like the color blue? And I was like, is it? Yes, because we have analyzed for last 5 years of your purchases, and most of your shirts have been blue.
Absolutely.
Right? And okay. And normally with a blue suit, you are going to go with a pink combination. And I'm like, what the hell? They know more about me than I myself.
Indeed, yeah.
And in a way, it's good that, I get prompted relevant options.
Yes.
Because then I have to not. I think gone are those days of Google search where you get hundreds of search results and then you have to decide which one you want to go for.
Exactly.
In the AI world, you're going to get those top 2 results, top 3 results, and they're all 3 going to be so relevant. So we're moving from that era where you
That's right.
say, oh, look at Google, thousands of results, and moving to the AI search, which is going to give you 3, but all 3 are relevant. I'm going to say, okay, wow, I know
That's
this
right.
is good because I think they have analyzed my patterns, they have analyzed my test, they have analyzed my situation where I'm in right now and why I'm asking. And that's useful. At the same time, do I want people to know so much about me?
Exactly. Exactly. So there is very much an ethical consideration. A lot of these large language models, LLM models that AI is being developed from, are being trained on people's data. And yes, the argument these days is that people aren't aware that their data is being used to train. And so there are definitely ethical considerations. The governmental regulatory frameworks are not there yet. We all know how slow governments move. And it's very true for AI searches especially. But there is also the side that a lot of companies and leaders of companies are setting up their own frameworks. They're not
Great.
waiting for the government to bring in legislation. So although I'm concerned, I'm not overly worried about it at this stage. I think we have to push some of the big tech companies, for that matter, even the small tech companies, to be ethically considerate and bring in their own frameworks as well.
Fantastic. So that's a message to a lot of these new entrepreneurs. If you are setting up a startup, take this into your bag of things to consider.
Mhm.
And of course, those companies who are on the path already, I think this is something that you must watch for because in future, this market is also going to become competitive. And those who follow certain things that just Alan said, they are the ones who will be preferred over the others. Now talking about marketing, and you talked about the hyper-personalization.
Sure.
Yes, a lot of things are yet to come. But if you
Oh
see,
yes. Yeah.
Netflix have implemented hyper-personalization, and their success rate is 80%. So
Oh, yeah.
80% of the times, what Netflix says or recommends, people watch,
That's right.
which is great. If I go back to, IKEA,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Okay.
a fantastic case study.
Yeah.
We know that we can go into Marks and Spencer and we can try out clothes,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I have never thought that I can even try out furniture.
For sure.
So people can now use smartphones, and using IKEA's technology, using AI, you can actually see how that furniture would look in my house, in
That's
that
right.
corner.
That's
And then I
right.
can actually move it around. I can see if it fits in the dimensions. So before I buy the furniture, try the furniture. So if there are people from marketing side watching this session, just watch out for these kind of implementations where the biggest of the goods like furniture can be tried, and IKEA has done it. So you have a scope to see where you can apply such case studies, and probably do your own startup. Also, we can talk about Amazon.
Oh, yes.
Amazon knows a lot about us, and I think I'm not going to talk much about it because it's an example that people know.
We know.
But yes, I think from a marketing perspective, we have these trends that are going on. Now, for those who are wanting to implement or use AI, improvise their marketing, where you think they can probably utilize. I know some of the tools are still at a beginner stage.
There are so many aspects of AI coming in marketing. There are so many aspects of marketing. Let's even start there. You can be talking about marketing in general. You can be talking about marketing in developing websites, landing pages. You can be talking about marketing in relation to search engine optimization. You can be talking about marketing in relation to software as a service,
Absolutely.
which is also getting very big and will get much, much bigger. Just as an example, although I develop websites and write content, as a sideline, and this is just for my use at the present time, I'm developing a couple of little Chrome extensions.
Wow.
And to do that, I'm using ChatGPT and Claude, currently 3.5 Sonnet. There is an aspect of Claude called artifacts. If you haven't come across it, do try it. Doesn't cost you anything. And you can tell it what you want your app to do, ask it to give you a plan of what it thinks should be the best way of designing and building the code for the app. And then if you're happy with that, you can then tell it to do step one. Give me the interface of the app. Do the user interface. Do the user experience. And you can then, and it does it. It writes the HTML code. It writes the JavaScript. It writes the CSS, the cascading style sheets, and you can end up with a complete tested app written by the AI.
Wow, that's
amazing. Exciting. That's exciting.
That's really exciting and amazing. Just to imagine, something that needed so much effort, skill, and the talent, it's now being done by AI.
Absolutely.
Well, again, I think we can probably talk about this. As you said before this interview, we can talk on this AI in marketing for probably days. So this few minutes of interview is just to give you the glimpse, and of course, we will come live on this webinar, and probably that would be more appropriate.
Absolutely, we'll leave it till then.
To discuss with students and audiences.
Okay.
Well, but before we close the interview, any tips for the audience, especially students and
Absolutely.
other entrepreneurs who are venturing into marketing?
Absolutely. So for me, it is following a passion. So I would really encourage you to follow your passion. Don't restrict yourself to just one aspect. Follow any rabbit hole that interests you. Dive down it. Go deep. Go deep. Use every possible means of finding out that you can. Even old-fashioned libraries. Nothing wrong with books. Nothing wrong with paper, ink on paper. But with all the Googling you can do, the Search GPT, which is coming out from OpenAI, all the GPTs, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whichever's your favorite. Use it, dive into it, search, change your prompts. The results do change by you getting a basis and then telling it more of what you want. So don't be afraid of the AI searches. Totally get into it, dive down that rabbit hole. And the only time that you will ever fail is if you give up. So don't give up. Don't give up.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Alan. And I think we'll stop the interview for now. But again, Alan is always there and accessible for his knowledge and anything more that you want to know. We will go over to the question and answers shortly. Thank you.